Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Holiday Spectacular Bowdabra Live. And I'm Sandy Sandler in the background. And we have Joette Lutrick, I'm so excited because she's going to show you some amazing projects that you can make with your Bowdabra. So I'm going to let Joette take it away and get started.
Oh, hi, everybody. I am going to do a lot of holiday stuff, get you ready for the holidays, gift wrapping, and some decor. As you can see behind me, I've already got something started, but I need to finish it. And I want to just go ahead and get the live up on my phone so I can try to see the comments as we're going along. And there we are. As you're coming in, go ahead and share the love with everybody. We've got a lot of fun tonight. And this is one of the items we're going to be making. You know, when you have two doors and you need a matching swag, well, if one's ready, I'm going to make the other one. So let's get started. And we're going to do some gift wrapping at first. And I've already laid out my ribbon and dovetailed it, and I've got my package already tied up so we can tie the bow onto it. So let me go ahead and get a little length of whatever bow wire. And every project you see us do tonight on this live, there will be no hot glue involved at all. That's really good for what we're going to be doing. I mean, I love it when we can do stuff like that and not have to use hot glue. So what I've done, I've already got a tail on this package and I've cut another tail and I'm going to fold it in half and place it down in my large Bowdabra. And I'm going to mix some of this gold ribbon in with it. So I'm going to go ahead and make a little gold tail as well and place that in. So make sure you have your pretty side up and or your pretty side down and your ugly side up as you're making these bows. And this is going to be more of a traditional bow. So what you're going to do is you need a little bit of an overhang in the Bowdabra. So I'm going to go ahead and place that down into the Bowdabra with about a 1 inch overhang. And I'm going to twist and fold. And this bow is going to be pretty big for this small package, but we can also use the same bow on a wreath or decor. And I have a question for everybody as you're coming in. You know what? Oh, wait a minute. I want to ask it. I want to get some really see what kind of
Snappy
answers we can
Lobster
get.
asked if there are problems at our end or hers, and I don't see any problems at our end. So I'm thinking it might be at your end.
I don't have it's playing
No, well,
normal
you're
here.
fine, Joette. It's not you.
Oh, okay. All right. Scared me because we have had problems here before on my end, and I was trying to make sure we didn't tonight. Okay, so all I'm doing is twisting and folding. I'm making loops. I'm going side to side. This is a traditional bow, and you can make all your loops the same length, or you can taper in as you go. So I've got my largest bow or largest loop is a little bit larger, my bottom one is a little bit larger than the rest of them. And now I'm gradually tapering in and just going back and forth. And you can spread them out as you make it, how you would fluff it, or you can stack them either way because it'll fluff out when you're done. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep folding and twisting and gradually going in slightly on each layer. I have two layers the same, one layer longer, two layers different, and then I have one, and now I'm gradually going in, tapering in. And I'm at the end of my ribbon, which was probably about 3 yards, I think. Here in the South, we measure with our hearts. When you're doing a recipe or crafting, you basically measure with your heart. So I'm going to go ahead
And
and
don't
twist
forget to
and
tell us
fold.
where you're watching. Don't forget to tell us where you're watching from because we will pick a winner for a free roll of Bowdabra scrunchie ribbon at the end of the live.
Okay, so now, yes, please be sure to comment where you're watching from. So now I've got my next ribbon in, and it's a little bit, it's not mesh, but it's a little, stick. It'll stick together, catch on something. You got to be careful with it, but I'm twisting and folding, and I'm gonna make probably 3 or 4 loops. I'm not sure what's gonna come out, but this was about 3 yards, maybe 2.5 yards. Okay, so I'm going to go in a little bit smaller on this last loop, these last two loops. I'm gonna go ahead and scrunch everything down, my Bowdabra, my wand. And now I have this little poinsettia I clipped off a bush. And I don't know if you can see, but I just turned the end so it has something to catch on so it doesn't slip out. I place that in, and I'm going to go ahead and pull my loose end through my looped end of the Bowdabra bow wire while it's still in the Bowdabra. Pull it tight, and then you can remove it. Okay, set that aside. And I'm going to pull it tight again and turn the wires to the pull them both to the back side, but I separate them. You can also pull tight like that. It won't hurt your bow, and it gets all the slack out of there. Go ahead and tie it in a knot, like the double knotted at least. And now you have this bow, but could fluff it out now, but I'm going to go ahead and put it on the package. So I've already got a knot tied right there. So I'm just going to go ahead and tie the bow wire through the knot or around it, and because it's not going to show. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tie it in a shoe bow because I have I like to make fancy bows for my packages. And you would think that, nobody would try to give me a fancy bow because I use my Bowdabra and make them. But every Christmas, I get fancy bows too from my mom's side. And it happens to be because I tied my bow in a shoe knot. They're reusing bows that I made packages years before, so I end up getting my bows back. So I get fancy bows too. So I'm just separating because that's why we say tie it in a shoe bow so someone can save it. Because you put so much effort and thought in them. You want to make sure that they get more than one use and don't go to the trash immediately. So just fluffing and shaping now. So what you want to do, those bottom loops that were longer, that's always going to be that's going to be the base of my bow. It's going to form the shape and the width of it, the length, and make it the biggest. So then you want to take those two that were different sizes, separate them, just pull them apart like that. And then once you have them all pulled apart and separated, you want to fluff them. And that means just put your fingers in there and round them out. And you end up with a beautiful package like this in no time at all. And somebody's going to not want to open it. They're going to think it's so beautiful. Or they going to think they're really special either way. But this is what we got in about probably I'd say 5 yards of ribbon on that. You don't have to make it that big. You can make the same thing even smaller. So next we are going to do, I think I'm going to show you how to wrap this we're going to put a bow on a stocking. We're going to use it like that, like it's a gift bag. It didn't have a loop on it to put a bow there, so I'm sure that's probably a gift bag bow. And this is really inexpensive to do. So you take some of your 5/4 store tool or mesh, deco mesh. That's probably, I think, the 6 inch. And some of these berry centers from the 5/4 store. You know what I'm talking about. And let's see, what else did we have? Oh, um, I thought I had a flower to go on it. Oh, that was supposed to go on that bow. Oh well, we have an extra part left. That's all right. So I'm gonna use white since it's a um, red and white stocking. I'm gonna use 2 clusters of these berries of the white and this deco mesh. And then these guys, they're not pipe cleaners, but they're pine cleaners. I
Uh-oh, Joette just froze.
use 3 of those, and then I'm going to start out with those, but I will put the bow wire in, Sandy. You don't have to remind me. I'm going to take my pen or my Sharpie, and I'm going to wrap it around the end of my pen about 3 or 4 times, and I'm going to get like a pigtail. All right, so now I'm going to take my bow wire, cut me a length, and fold it in half and place it down in the large Bowdabra. And then I'm going to take this deco mesh, and I always want to roll it in 3 or 4 times because it does fray and you don't want your fraying to show. Actually, I want to put these in first. All right, so let's scratch that. So I'm going to put my longest piece of this pine branch in, And then my two shorter ones, I just rolled them up tighter, and I'm making some foliage like that. When y'all start coming in, I wanted to ask you, what is the, well, I'll go ahead and ask you. Hopefully your people start seeing your answers. What is the craziest thing you've ever had to wrap or biggest thing you've ever had to wrap in your Christmas wrapping years and birthday wrapping years? Lexi's over there wanting me to say what I wrapped. She's doing her hands. So I'm doing a scrunchy bow with this uh, mesh, deco mesh. Sandy, as you see them, if anybody comments, what's the craziest thing I've ever had to wrap? Tell me what they say. I'm trying to watch, but I don't see any comments. Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah, we don't have
curl
any
that.
comments yet.
Okay, we're gonna curl this under, and then you have this little flower looking bow. So I'm gonna take these two centers or these two little berry clusters. Actually, it's three. I'm gonna put two on one side and one on the other then and slide the stems to the other one and hide them. And then we're just gonna tie it up in a knot, but pull your loose ends of your bow wire through your looped in. Pull it tight while it's still in there, and you can remove it. You're gonna separate these wires, pull them to the back real tight,
And
and
we
tie
do
them in a
have the
knot.
Bowdabra bow wire. You can purchase it on Amazon or at bowdabra.com or at Hobby Lobby.
Okay, so there's really not much fluff into this. We're just going to make sure that you can see all the foliage that we created and pull the center up, the berries up to the center, and you end up with this little flower looking bow. And these would be great to cover a wreath in as well. And what the Bowdabra, the mini Bowdabra in a box actually would fit in one of these in a stocking like this. You could buy somebody a mini Bowdabra and wrap it for Christmas in a stocking with the Bowdabra bow on it. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and show you. You put your gift in the stocking and just tie it on on the back like a shoe bow again, where they can save it. And a lot of times these make really cute tree ornaments on the next year. People save them for tree ornaments. You end up with this beautiful little stocking gift wrap package in no time at all. And that
It's really
was
pretty.
very cheap to make. There's so much left. You could probably make about 5 or 6 of those in no time at all. Okay, so next, I didn't finish decorating this
Uh-oh, we're frozen.
for a tree topper, or you could use for mantle, in center, whatever. Am I frozen, Sandy?
You're back now. You're back now.
Okay. Okay. I was telling them I'm going to make a mantle bow now that could also be used as a tree topper or something, but I'm going to finish and put this bow behind me. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this longer piece of Bowdabra wire in half, put it in the Bowdabra, and I probably have about 5 yards of this velvet and glitter ribbon. 'Tis the season for glitter, right? So we got, I'm going to make no tails on it because I don't want to I don't want to get in the fireplace's heat, and I don't want to cover anything up there that would keep the signal from working with the remotes. So I'm just going to go ahead and take, let's see, I want to go ahead and, I had an end I
Oh,
preferred to
Snappy
use.
Lobster said that the hardest things that she ever had to wrap was a dog.
Oh my, that I think that might be what I had to wrap. I wrapped a person, and I've wrapped I've wrapped a person, I've wrapped a Ferrari, and I wrapped a go-kart. I mean a golf cart with the air-conditioned golf cart. And those were for one of my celebrity clients. I mean all three of them. And I had to wrap $1 million bracelet that was for one of them. It was a gift for somebody that one of my old clients. So I had to get real creative with some gift wrapping back in the day. So what I'm doing here, I did my 1 inch overhang, and I'm doing a twist and fold. But this one, I'm going to do like almost like a butterfly bow. I'm going to graduate in and go shorter till I get to the center part, and then I'm going to make I'll show you a trick on, and we're not going to do a button loop. I'm going to do something else. We're going to put an ornament in the center. So I've graduated in about a 1/2 inch on that side. So twist and fold, and I'm about a 1/2 inch in there. And let's see, should end up with 4 loops on each side. The way I'm going to graduate this. So they're about 1 inch in now. And I'm just going to keep stacking it because I do want it to be butterfly shaped so it's not in the way of the fireplace or the signal for the remote. Okay, let's go in a little bit further. Okay, so now I'm on my last piece. So to make sure I get my loops even, I'm going to get about 1 inch overhang and go ahead and just make a circle, make my loops kind of even, line them up and mash them down. So I have this, looks like a little butterfly when you pop it out, but it's not going to be a big round bow. It's still a traditional bow with no tails. I'm going to end up putting this in the center of it to bring everything together on the mantle. So I'm going to take my loose ends of my Bowdabra bow wire, pull them through the looped end, pull it tight. Now I can let go and remove it. Keep pulling it tight. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and do 1/2 knot right now in the back. And then I'm going to bring those loops back to the front so I can thread them onto my ornament. I want the ornament, I don't know if it's going to go straight up in the center or not. It doesn't matter, but it's still going to be pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and get that tied tight. So I could glue it in, but again, I'm not using hot glue tonight, so it's just going to hang there. Now I can go ahead and go back to the back of it. Trying to roll away. Okay, and tied in a double knot this time. And now I'm going to take, well, this is my larger loops. It's going to make my bow look really big. It's how I'm trying to use less ribbon because I ran out of ribbon. So I'm going to separate my two that are the same. Well, I want the smaller one at the top. Everything's graduated. I want the larger one next to the largest one down at the bottom. And then this one, I want it to go straight out. Okay, I'm on the opposite side. There's my one that stays in the center piece. This is my longer one. I'm going to pull it down longer than this one. And then this one's the shorter, next shortest one. It's going there. And then there's my other loop. And so now we have this little butterfly type bow with no tails. And it's going to go right here. And I wonder if I have time to go ahead and just string it on here so you can see it, how it's going to look. But see, it's not going to block anything and it's not going to get in the way of the fireplace. And I can just tie it on with my wire if I didn't lose it. Oh, there it goes. Trying to do this without dropping anything. So, and I could twist it in there with my pine as well, but just trying to make it as easy and fast as possible. All right, so now that's tied up in there. And you can go ahead and fluff it a little more when you get it in place. That's the best way. Go ahead and fluff it when you have it in place. And there you have a mantle bow, but you can make it bigger and put tails on it, and you would have an actual tree topper as well. So next we're going to make, let's see, we're going pretty fast. Let's do the swag that I was showing you at the beginning. Let me go ahead and get set up for the swag and get a good length of Bowdabra bow wire for that one. Again, we're going to fold it in half, place it down in the large Bowdabra, tuck those ends underneath and out of the way. And if you notice, I'm using a lazy Susan because I'm a florist, and when I hand tie bows, which I don't do much anymore because these are prettier, so I use a Bowdabra bow, I twist and turn. So it's easier for me to twist and turn the Bowdabra. So
Don't
I'm
forget
going to
to tell
go.
us where you're watching. Don't forget to tell us where you're watching from for a chance to win a roll of Bowdabra scrunchy ribbon.
I wish I could see if there was comments. Okay. And okay, so I'm I'm the queen of scraps and using leftovers and all kinds of stuff. So um I have some branches from I threw a Christmas tree out a year or so ago, and I have a couple of the branches that I saved because they were so good. I have a few Dollar Tree bushes that I got. I have a poinsettia from a bush that I just snipped off, and I think that's it. And then I've got some deco mesh. All right, this is not really, it's a some kind of polyfiber. I'm not sure, but I'm going to do the scrunchy bow like I did the gift wrapping bow. I'm going to, it's about the 21 inch, it is the 21-inch wide. So I've got it rolled under about 3 times, and I'm just going to scrunch this in to give it a backing. There's probably a yard and a half on here, if that. That was just the end of a roll. And you'll get a backing, a flower look. You can do the same thing and you can make a centerpiece as well without even using a container. So now I've got my mesh scrunched on there. I'm going to take one of my branches. I usually stand when I'm making stuff. Sorry, this is hard for me to do when I'm sitting, but I'm going to struggle through it.
And
I
everybody,
like,
check out our YouTube channel at Bowdabra. We have over 900 how-to videos there. And we also have literally thousands of how-tos on bowdabra.com/blog. I'll put that up.
and all I've done now is now I've used the two branches, one on top, one on bottom to cascade. This one I brought in a little bit tighter, and I brought it in a branch or two. Now I'm going to take my two little Dollar Tree bushes. I'm gonna put them, I want them to hang on the bottom. Actually, I forgot well, I don't know how that happened. I'll be right back. It's right here. I have this hanging thing. It's a hanging tinsel, and it's probably from Hobby Lobby. Look, see, I want to show you how easy it is if you make a mistake. This, I don't know what it is, but I'm sure it came from Hobby Lobby. That looks like a Hobby Lobby tag. So you can fold it in half, and then these are going to be my hangers. But I want to show you something. So how do I have that last one? Okay. So if you make a mistake like I just did, lift up a spot and just push it right in. And there you go. I'm back on track just that fast. So now I'm going to take, let's see. Oh, I had this one next. This is just some other deco mesh to tie in the colors. And I'm going to I'm trying to follow the lead on my last one I made to see which one I put in first. And it looks like okay, I did the poinsettia at the top and maybe push the leaves out. And then I did the deco mesh, or actually I did my tails. So I'm going to take some of this deco mesh ribbon. I'm going to tie a knot in the end, just like this. I'm going to make some tails. This keeps it from fraying. It's a little hack I use. Make your tails as long as you want. And I have them pretty long on one side and shorter on the other. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off here and tie it in a knot. I play a game called Stuff the Bowdabra. I tease Sandy and say that because I try to see how much stuff I can get in it. Because if you can see, this is really, that's got a lot of stuff in there. I can get a whole lot more in. So I'm going to test it right now. So I'm going to take about a yard of this deco mesh because I wanted some more green in it without having to use any more product. I mean, like stems or anything. So I'm just going to scrunchy bow that in there. I'm going to go ahead and cut it so you can see what I'm doing. See, I love it because I can let go of this, and normally I'm used to making these things in my hand and using lots of hot glue, and I don't have to do any of that. So I'm just going to scrunchy bow this in. This accordion style folding. Roll this end under so there's no fraying showing. Tuck it in. And then I've got this last little piece here, and I'm just going to do the little circle loop And that gives me, I'm going to scrunch that in there. That gives me two little loops on each side. So now I'm going to take my Bowdabra bow wire, pull it up, and get those loose ends and pull them tight to the looped end. And just that easy. It's not secure yet, but it will be. Keep pulling it tight, separate your ends, bring them to the back. This one got hairy. Just pull it really tight again, and now nothing can slip out. That's the key if you're going to be Bowdabra floral designing, like I do with it, instead of just making bows or am making bows. Make sure you get everything tight so nothing slips out. That is very important. So I'm just going to tie this one in a knot because nobody's going to need to resave or redo this or save it. So cut those extra wires off. And then you have, well, you can shape it. It doesn't need a lot of shaping.
Joette, you have a
You have the
question?
beautiful swag.
You have a
Sure.
question? Have you ever, Maria is asking, have you ever used Bowdabra with a wedding wreath?
Wreath, I've used bouquets. Wreaths, I make, there's my two identical wreaths or swags now. Um, yes, I use them for bridal bouquets. I use them for um, corsages, boutonnieres, centerpieces, um, cubots, everything. I do everything, just about anything you can do for a wedding. I've done in a Bowdabra. I have an injury, so I have an arm that doesn't work. So I use Bowdabra for almost everything now. So I wanted to show you something. I meant to show you this when I was working on the piece behind me. I don't know if you know, you can take little vice grips. These are the kind that don't even have that on there, and you can secure your garland on your mantles like that. And it's a whole lot easier than having a command strip give out on you halfway through the holiday or the season. Let's see, next, I think we're going to go ahead and do this mini Bowdabra lantern swag. Let's do this. And so you want to have little sit arounds and you have some scraps of stuff left over. These are really easy and
So,
cool to make.
Joette, we have a winner. The winner is Snappy Lobster, or her name is Maria from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Well,
And Maria is watching
congratulations.
us. She's watching us on YouTube. And Maria, just if you can go to Facebook and just PM us and let us know your address and whether you want gold, silver, or
Red, the red.
red Bowdabra scrunchy ribbon.
I wonder if she's going to pick red lobsters in her name. Okay, so I've got, this is my little mini lantern, and I took some of those um, pine chenelles again. I've got one longer than the other. I twisted them up with the pin, and I'm just going to lay them in the mini Bowdabra. And I've got two little berry clusters that were cut off of a pig. I'm going to put one on each side, and then I have about 8 inch, 9 inch tail I cut and I pre-dovetailed it. I'm going to scrunch it in the center and place it down into the mini. And next I've got some ribbon. I don't know if I'll use all this or not, but it's about 2 yards if I do. So I'm going to have a 1 inch overhang and I'm going to twist and fold again. I didn't do any funky bows tonight. I've just done the traditionals, but that's more Christmassy to me. So twist and fold, but they're whimsy when you do the I think the funky bows are more whimsy. So twisting and folding. And you can again leave these the same length or graduate in just a little bit, which I'm doing. On the first one, I left big, longer than the next two on each side. I'm making the same length and twisting and folding. But I've never played stuff the mini, what I'm doing right now. I'm going to go graduate in one more time on this next loop. And now I have one little strip left, and I'm going to use that as my button loop. So I'll place that across, and I'm going to take my whatever bow wire out. I could have scrunched it, but my fingers did it pretty good since it's kind of full. Pull those loose ends through the looped end, remove it, pull it tight, and tie it in a knot in the back, and then it's ready to tie onto your lantern. Well, I want to fluff it once I get it on. I'm gonna go ahead and tie it on and then fluff it out, and you'll see how easy and I mean you don't have to be fancy at all. Just use some scraps or scrap pieces and or some of these little